Hey, everybody. It's the end of the year. It's 2024. And here I am, Anthony Bolling. And we have a new platform here, Frontline Speakers, where we're talking to clients that we've been of service to. We have a special guest here today, Miss Monique Brown, first-time home buyer.
Hello, everyone.
All right, all right. And Monique is going to talk with us about her journey to home ownership and working with the Anthony Bolling Group. So, everybody, let her jump right in here and introduce herself, and then we'll get right into the conversation.
Hello, everybody. My name is Monique Brown. I'm a native Washingtonian, and I just purchased my first home closed yesterday.
All right, now, just closed yesterday. All right, December 30th. Boy,
Yes.
that's right at the end of the year. Woo!
Right at the deadline.
Right at the deadline. Well, congratulations, Monique. Your first time home buyer, you just closed. Let's start at the beginning. Let's tell everybody when this journey began. Talk to them about what you did and concerns you had and how you got going.
All right. So my journey started 13 months ago in November. First, I started to research about different first buy and hold programs offered in DC. And once I started doing that research, I saw that there was a lot of programs for first buyers in the DC who are native DC residents. So one of the major ones that is competitive is the HPAP program. So
An HPAP program, that's the Home Purchase Assistance Program. And you mentioned that's for DC residents. It's not DC residents, but persons who are first-time home buyers who want to purchase in the District of Columbia.
right, correct,
Okay,
correct.
good.
So once I started doing research on this program, because this program has been around since the 80s, and Mayor Bowser has expanded the amount that people are eligible for, you have to first now find a community based organization that will take you through the training.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Once you're able to select your community based organization, then they will take you through several trainings. And it depends on what organization that you went to. Now, I
Okay.
went to the Housing Counseling Incorporated community based organization, which is located in on 14th Street. I went up there and they gave you the option to do it in person or virtually. I did it.
Well, let's talk about a couple of these things you already hit on.
Yes.
You said that Mayor Bowser has expanded the HPAP program,
Yes.
expanded the money
Yes.
that they now give to first-time home buyers. Now the program is expanded to up to $202,000 that you're eligible to get to use towards your down payment and closing costs in the purchase of a home here in DC.
Right. And then an additional $4,000 for closing costs per
Up to $206,000
Mhm.
that this city is giving to persons who want to buy here in the District of Columbia. Now, didn't you mention something about a requirement to join, go through a community-based organization or CBO? You pick one. The one you picked, was that in your neighborhood or was that close to you? Where was that one located?
That one's located, I believe, in Columbia Heights. I chose that one just because of my workload, so I would prefer to do it virtually, and they offer a virtual option. Now, there
Okay.
is several organizations throughout each ward that you can go to do your community based organization. It's really based on your preference.
Okay, great. And then you said they took you through a training.
Yes.
Talk to us about the length of time of the training, as well as what is it that you learned throughout this training?
So it was several trainings. First, you have to go on their website, fill out a questionnaire, and request that you want to attend the pre training. So you have a pre training. Once they vet you out through the pre-training, then you can move forward to take the another pre-training to see if you pass a test. You have to they'll it's like 2 hours of training to learn about what is the process of first home buying, what things you should look out for, what does HPAP requires too, because you have to understand what documents that you need in order to apply for HPAP once you get to the point of applying, what do
Mm-hmm.
you already need to have. So they go over what credit score you need to have. They go over how much you need to save. They go
Mm.
over what class bracket that you're in because they offer money based on what is your income and your household. So they go over that as well. They go over what home insurance you need. They go over what kind of inspections you need. And once they go through all that information, then they'll give you a quiz. It's 8 questions. You have to pass, get a passing grade on the quiz to move on to the actual 8-hour course training.
Okay. Okay. So these programs down here offered at the District of Columbia are looking to prepare you for home ownership.
Right.
You got to take a pre-test before you take the 8-hour course, which is designed to help prepare you for this journey towards home ownership.
Right.
Well, that sounds great. And you know what? How long a period of time did that overall take for you from when you started to when you were done and the program gave you, say, your notice of eligibility that you are in the program?
It took me I started in November. I didn't get my notice of eligibility until July of this year.
July. Okay, so that was November, December, January, and then July 7th. So that's it took you 9 months to get your notice of eligibility.
Yes, correct.
Okay, well, that's an important thing for people out here in the audience who are thinking about going through the HVAC program. That from the time Monique started until she received her notice of eligibility, 9 months. Okay, great. Now, you got your notice of eligibility in July. Now you are in the program and you're certified and you're qualified and they've taken you through a number of underwritings with all your documents and your and so forth. So now you have this NOE, this notice of eligibility. Talk to the people about what that that told you in terms of your buying power and the amount of time you had now in July to go out and find a house.
So it let me know how much I was eligible for. It also made explain the parameters of how w- based on my income whether or not the grant is deferred. It also let me know how much the grant can give me because it's a 70-30% ratio. So that means at the time HPAP was only going to supply 30% of the purchase price of the
Okay.
actual house. It
Okay.
also let you know about what your debt to income ratio has to be as well. So once you get all the notice of eligibility, then at that particular time, you can now begin. First, I would say get a realtor before you get your NOE, but you need to go shopping for a realtor. You need to go shopping for a mortgage lender. And you will also learn this stuff during the training too. You have to shop around for
Mm.
realtors and mortgage lenders to find which one is the best fit for you.
Well, that's a great point. So let's talk about this mortgage lender because you mentioned these numbers 70-30% ratios and all. Now, you were working with Ingrid Rapavy
Yes, yes.
at First Home Mortgage. That's her telephone number. And we always here frontline speakers like to give a shout out to the professionals that work with us and our clients. And Ingrid has done an outstanding job. She got you the money. But one of the things you mentioned was in your NOE was a 70-30% ratio. You're talking about between your first trust that you were getting from First Home Mortgage and your second trust that you were getting from HPAP,
Correct. Yes.
and that the program wants your second trust to be smaller, 30% of the
Hmm.
purchase price, compared to the first trust lender, who is going to give you 70%
Correct.
of your purchase price.
Yes.
Okay, those are important numbers. Now, let me ask you, how this seems to be a good mortgage company for you. Tell me, how'd you find this mortgage company?
I was referred to the mortgage company through my realtor agent, which was Anthony Bolling. He referred me to the mortgage company because of their experience with HPAP and experience with his other clients. They had good experience. They know what they're doing, and they have experience using HPAP buyers.
You bring up a fantastic point there, Monique, that you said you should investigate and interview your real estate professionals first and early, but that one of the things you benefited from was because you were a first-time home buyer and because you desired to go through the HPAP program, your real estate professional was able to refer you to an appropriate lender who had significant experience working with the HPAP program.
Right.
Tell people what was the benefit of all these relationships this real estate professional had with this lender and so forth, and knowledge of the program to you personally as you embarked on this journey.
Just personally, it cut down significant amount of time of just doing extensive amount of research because I trusted my agent to know that these people knew the HPAP program. So this gave me a lot of ease and made me able to focus on actually searching for a house than trying to vet out more people for my home buying process.
Okay.
Also, too, I knew these people were reliable and they stayed on top of me to make sure that I meet the exact deadlines for the HPAP program.
Okay. So there's still deadlines, and you need people to help hold you accountable to the thing you want to do.
Yes, yes.
All right. So now let's jump on out there. You got your NOE, you got your first trust mortgage lender, you got your real estate professional, and you mentioned now looking for the right house. Let's talk about that process. Was there anything that you did before you actually went out and looked at a house?
Yeah, so as my agent walked me through the process of finding a house, he advised me to first survey the neighborhood, first make a budget of what kind of how the purchase price of the kind of house that you want. Then also
So,
make a
so your
list.
NOE told you your buying power.
Yes.
And we don't want to tell people all your business. Don't
Yeah.
tell everybody all your business. But they said here's your buy. Although you know what? Hey, people can look this stuff up on the public records and you know what? Let's just tell them your buying power was was it 400?
Yeah, about around that. Around that.
Around 400.
Yes.
So now, hey, for those out there in the audience who are thinking $400,000 to buy a house in the District of Columbia, you're going to need an exceptional real estate professional to help you find that. Okay, that's a shameless plug on my part. That's what I do. Okay, but the point is, you have your buying power. You know what you can buy, but while you're at home, before your real estate professional cut you loose, and did you just jump out there and start looking at things? Did you talk about that initial client realtor interview where we talked about you and your requirements
Right.
and how important that was to the overall journey in finding the right house for you?
Yes. So after speaking with my agent, he gave me a brief um the meeting about the importance of what I want and to create a list of 10 things that I require from the property that are most important for me. So making that list is super important to the process because it makes you focus in and narrow in on what you want and it helps with the property searches because there's going to be a lot of properties out here, and even after you purchase a home there still be properties on the market. Making that list narrows down what are your goals and what property that you want to purchase. So after going through and creating my list of most important 10 things, like say for example, you want a front yard, you want a backyard, you want a basement, how many bedrooms do you want? How many bathrooms do you want? What kind of kitchen do you want? All those things need to be a part of, and rank them from most important to least important on your list of 10 things that you want out of your house. Once you create that list, then you're able to proceed to start searching for properties that's within your budget that meets that lit 10 list of things. This helps narrow down the search of properties because you're going to be over, there's an overwhelming market of properties on the market. This list helps you narrow down that list of properties. It
Okay,
helps you.
great. All right. So you're in the house, you got your list of requirements, these 10 things that are important to you
Mhm.
about a house. You still haven't seen a house yet. Now you're saying the market can be a little overwhelming. There's a lot of things to choose from. Talk about the use of technology with the Anthony Bolling Group and the ability to survey and pre-screen properties prior to actually going out to see it. And did they have technology? Did they have apps, websites? Talk about the use of those tools.
So during our meeting too, we was able to get into the Keller Williams app, and that Anthony Bolling will set you up with. And so with this app, it tells you, they give you pictures of the houses, tells you what kind of neighborhood the house is in and stuff. It tells you about the travel distance, like if it's has access to metro and stuff like that. And then you're able to request a tour within the app.
Within the app. Okay, fantastic. So now you're armed with tools and technology that's allowing you to access the local multiple listing service to see all the properties that met your criteria. So you had a profile
Yeah.
created of your ideal property, and then it then brought to you your computer or your phone those properties that met your criteria for you to then go out and preview and screen before you set an appointment to actually go and tour the property. Now, talk about that process because it seems a little, maybe that's a little off putting that you got to make a list of what you want. Then you're getting properties that are screened coming to you. Then before you go out, you got to go and tour the neighborhood. Talk about the importance of touring the neighborhood and these properties and what you learned about what you thought you wanted before you actually made the appointment to see it.
Surveying the neighborhood is very, very important. You might find the best renovated house, and a lot of these houses are getting renovated, are gutted out. But if the neighborhood is not in a particular neighborhood that you want, or if it's if you want a side street house compared to living on a main street, then you don't want to buy that property. Or if the property that you want, like you want to, this is the neighborhood you're going to continue living in for more than over 5 years. So you want to be in a neighborhood that you're comfortable with. You want to be in an environment that you're comfortable with. You want to be able to access things that you want accessible to you. So that
Mm-hmm.
also helps you narrow down the search for properties that you want. Also, too, if you have a car, what's the kind of parking that you have on the app? It will tell you whether it's street parking or garage parking, but you want to see the density of how in the volume of parking. Because if you live in a neighborhood, you don't want to park 15 minutes away from your house. So it's important to survey the neighborhood. Or if you're looking in a neighborhood where you know there's high volume traffic of people, you want to completely immerse yourself and say, are you really okay living in this type of neighborhood? What's your most important, what kind of
That's right.
ideal neighborhood you want to live in?
That's right. That's right. And you hit the nail right on the head. You know, one of your requirements was is that, as I recall, you did not want to live on a main street.
Right.
And although the search in the app did bring to you properties that met most, if not all, of your other requirements, but also included being on the main street. And sometimes that happens, even though you have a survey, it brought you a property, but you going out and previewing it in advance kept you from actually going in to seeing a property that ultimately, like you said, why am I looking at a property that's going to be beautifully renovated inside if it's on a main street that I don't want to live on?
Right. Right.
Yes. Okay. So great. So now finally, Gmo Gritty, does this dude ever actually let you go out and look at a property? Did you actually go and see anything?
Yeah, we saw properties. It's a process. It's a process.
It is a process, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And let's talk about, and let's keep it real. We saw some properties. I don't know how many properties. I do know how many properties because we kept track of all the properties we saw.
Right.
And we saw. We saw some properties.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. Even with this process, we were able to call out properties to go see.
Right.
And with all these choices, then how were you prepared by your realtor to make the decision on, is this the one for you? There's so many out there. What do you do when you actually go to the property? You go into the property. What were you armed with? What was there a test? Was there a quiz? This evaluating question that you have after you go in and see the property?
So after you go in and see the property, you have to come back to your list of 10 things that you want out of the property or out of the neighborhood. What are your most 10 things? And see if this property marks off those things on your 10 items on your list.
Okay.
If it marks off all the items on your list, you have to make a decision, would you put an offer on this property or not?
Right then.
Mm-hmm. Right then and there, you got to say whether or not you want to put an offer on this property or not. Because
Had you seen all of them? I mean, right then you got to make a decision.
yes, you have to make a decision.
Well, if you make a decision right now on this one, what about the other 8 you haven't seen yet?
The other 8 still might have them same 10 things, but you have to decide whether or not you want this property or not, because you don't know if someone's already trying to make a contract on this particular property that you really, really like. Like I said, there's always going to be other properties on the market. So you have to make a decision right now. Are you going to put an offer or not put an offer on this property?
Okay. So when you came out of actually touring a property, you've gotten a lot of information about the property up front. You've surveyed the neighborhood. You've been around the property. You actually go inside the property. And we're talking about right then, not you've been inside 8 or 9 times. We're talking about you go in for the first time, you're in the property, and when you're done and you check your list, you're saying you turn to your realtor and you have to make a decision right there. Your realtor not even gonna let you out the house. You gotta make the decision right now. Are you prepared to make an offer on this property or not?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you have to make a decision right then and there.
Okay. And you make that decision. And now, how does that feel? I mean, that seems a little strong-armed.
It's overwhelming, but there is a benefit of doing that because you have to do it. Because, like I said, this property can be put off the market tomorrow. So you have
Yes.
to arm yourself with, okay, this property might not be on the market tomorrow. I have to find another property. And then instead of doing the search all over again, okay, I already have a list of other properties that I would also like to put an offer on. Because
Yeah.
you don't want to go through this process. That prolongs the process.
Okay, good. Well, you got off and running in July.
Mm-hmm.
You started looking. Let's talk about because I don't want everybody out here to just think that just working with the Anthony Bolling Group is just all hugs and kisses and love. There was some disappointing moments. Let's talk about, you did make some offers
Yeah.
on some properties. We did.
Yes.
And you made some offers, and they weren't all accepted.
Right.
So that's a disappointment. You can make an offer on a property and it not be accepted. The seller doesn't want your money.
Right. That was very disappointing.
Yes. Now let's talk about your money. I put it that way, your money.
Yes.
Because your money was a little different money, wasn't it?
Yes.
You're getting this HPAP money, you're dealing with the government, and there's this perception out there that anytime you're dealing with the government, it's a lot of paperwork. Was it a lot of paperwork?
Yes. It was a lot of paperwork.
Okay. It was a lot of paperwork. Does it take a long time to get the money? Well, it did take about 9 months.
Right.
Okay. But you got through it.
Right.
Okay. You didn't lose a long
Yeah.
getting through it, but you did. Okay, fine. Now you get into the market, you make an offer to on a property that you like. You got this checklist, you make this offer on a property, and then the seller says, no. And it wasn't because you didn't offer. Did you try to lowball them?
No.
You offer them just what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And the seller said, nope, I don't like your financing. And you say, what? My financing? It's money. Nah, that HPAP, no. And reality is that the HPAP program, they have certain windows when they open up the doors and say the money's available. And in this case, the money from HPAP wasn't going to be available until October.
Right.
The earliest.
After October 1st, right.
Okay, so hold on. Let's everybody get this straight. You get your notice of eligibility that you are ready to go and go buy in July after 9 months. But the money isn't even going to be available to you until October.
Right.
Okay, let me see. That's July, August, September. That's 4 months. And what did we find from sellers' response to us during that 4-month period?
A lot of sellers did not want to wait that long. They wanted a sale right now, and they wanted their money guaranteed. And that's the stereotype with HPAP. They don't believe that HPAP money is guaranteed.
Right. They think it's with the government. They think it's going to be some kind of yimity flim flam. It's going to be something the government's going to go under, close the door, stuff that never happens. Right. And they're going to be delays. Now, I'll just, jump to the end on those sellers. Some of those sellers who told us no did, in fact, find buyers and went to settlement in some period of time. However, some of those sellers who didn't take our offer are still out there trying to sell their property.
Right.
Okay, we shouldn't laugh at that. That's not funny.
They'll find the right buyer.
Oh, look at you. That's right. They will find the right buyer in time.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Okay, so fine. So some of the people didn't take our offers. We made offers. Okay. But then we did make an offer on the property.
Yes.
And the seller did take our offer.
Right.
Okay, great. So then after that, we just went on the settlement. No.
It was another process. Oh, I need to get my charger. Can I
Yeah, you can. What do you need to do?
Oh, I need to get my charger.
Get your charger.
Okay. I'm gonna put my camera on pause real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And while she's got her camera on pause and she's out here getting her charger so that this doesn't go down, uh, this is just again an opportunity for us to share with you potential buyers, sellers out there who are thinking about buying and selling real estate here in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. The opportunity to consider working with our team, the Anthony Bolling Group. We are licensed real estate professionals here in this DMV area for a long time, and we have a lot of experience. We are affiliated with the Keller Williams organization, and so we have a lot of resources and support to help you in the marketing and selling of your property, help you because we work exclusively with buyers, first-time home buyers, second-time home buyers, buyers. We want to help you achieve your real estate goals and objectives. So consider the Anthony Bolling Group. We're out there on all the social media sites and all. But today we wanted you to hear from right here from our latest client, Monique Brown, who just closed on December 30th on the purchase of her new home. And she was just about to talk about she had placed an offer. Some sellers, because she had the HPAP financing, some sellers were a little skittish. They didn't want to wait the time period. That's fine. And that can be disappointing, but it can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But some sellers did accept it. And now she's about to say, but hold on. I think she's about to talk about the inspection process and what that revealed.
Yes. So the next process, once you get a ratified sales contract, and you will discuss this during your training too, the next part is inspection. And the HPAP program has a whole nother type of inspection that you have to go through to make sure that the property that you're moving in is safe for you to live in.
Yes.
Yes.
And so then we bring in another professional, a home inspection company professional. And again, did you get them out the yellow pages?
No, I was referred.
You were referred to a home inspection company. That
Yes.
would be Sentinel Inspections. Let's see if we have their information. We're looking for it, but we'll go on. We'll pop that up later. Sentinel. That would be Brother Jamal Hampton, my Kappa brother. Yes, Kappa Alpha Psi, the greatest fraternity on the planet, and we work with our brothers. And Jamal Hampton of Sentinel Inspections is by far. Well, I don't have to tell you about him as an inspector. I'll let Monique tell you about working. How was it working with Sentinel Inspections?
He does exceptional work. His workers are very exceptional. They're very professional. They know what they're talking about. They arrive to their appointments promptly on time, and they give you a detailed report with pictures explaining what's wrong with the house. They also walk you through, they give you a personal experience of, and they know if you're a first time home buyer or not, they'll explain to you what is the problem, how long, how it needs to be fixed, and how long it will be fixed. It needs to be like how the timeline. So there were my first initial house. There were a lot of things that were wrong with the house that a person who doesn't have background in home buying or doesn't have a background in contracting and stuff wouldn't be able to identify.
You wouldn't even see it. I mean, on the surface, house looked fine.
Right, it looked fine, but they got in and exposed a lot of critical problems with the house.
Yes.
Right.
So now let me see if we got this straight for the people. You made an offer. Finally, someone accepted your offer. The contract was ratified, It's under contract. Now you inspect it and you find that there are 110 issues with the property. Did you first of all, are you forced to buy that property?
No. So
No.
yeah,
So did you have to get a lawyer to break the contract?
no.
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 What did you do?
So with the HPAP program, you have contingencies within your sales contract that will allow you to get out of the contract. So one of those contingencies that you and the seller sign is an inspection contingency, saying that if the property fails inspection, you're able to pull out of the contract.
Okay, good. So there it is. There are contingencies that you mentioned. One of them being a home inspection contingency, and now you said if it doesn't pass the inspection, so you the buyer pick your inspector
Mm-hmm.
who inspected the property on your behalf, told you about the condition of the property, and when you didn't like what you saw in the report, you simply exercise your contingency that was negotiated by your realtor, and you had a certain period of time to inspect the property and give the report to the seller. And then you had the option to either say, fix the stuff I found that was wrong, or I'm getting out.
Right.
You exercise that contingency more than once on the property, didn't you?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. That we found that properties didn't meet.
Right.
And although you wanted to buy the properties because it met your list, your checklist,
Yes.
and the property appeared to be in the community you wanted to live in,
Right.
and now you've been doing this for a while, and there's pressure now. Talk about pressure, personal, imagined, real, TV, about now that you've been doing this July, August, September. Now it's October. Talk about the mental pressure you're feeling to pull the trigger and just take anything, settle.
One of the major pressures was October 1st, because October 1st is the mark of the new fiscal year for DC government. So we was always told, even during training and stuff, even with my agent, that you need to be first in line with your paperwork ready to go so you can be the first one, the first people to get funding for your property. And I was trying to find the right property, and when one property fell through, I felt more pressure to just settle instead of going back to my original 10 list of things, and also to going by what the inspection report says. And you can't do that. You can't allow that kind of pressure to be put on you. You have to find the right property. At the end of the day, you got to find the right property for you because this is the house you're going to live in.
That's right. That's right. And that's a great point you're making. The issue is the right property for you. Now, there might be someone out there who they get an inspection report. It's got 29 things got to be fixed. Maybe their parent is a contractor. That doesn't represent a risk for them. And so for you, you were looking for property. You weren't looking at brand new properties. These are all older properties being resold. We know they have some hairs, but some hairs is not woolly mammoth, right?
Right, right.
Okay, a couple hairs. Okay, we can handle. All right. So we're out, we're looking, we're making offers, we're finding properties, we're inspecting them, they're not passing the inspection. October has come. Now the clock is running. People are getting lined up, getting in line to get their money funded. Um, what happens? We continue to look, we continue to search,
Right.
right? You emotionally, maybe it's been a bit of a journey now. I mean, it started last November. Now
October.
it's October. It's coming up on a year
Hmm.
in this process.
Right.
How do you find the energy? Where do you find the strength to persist and not just throw up your hands and go cave into the naysayers and say this isn't worth it? Where do you turn to go on?
Well, personally for me, I look back on how far of the journey I have already come, how much work that I already put in, how much work my team has already put in to get me the funding for the property. So I wouldn't personally want to give up on that after my team that my realtor built, that all the paperwork I went through HPAP to already get eligible. I don't want to go to waste. So you have to find the strength to keep going on. And just because one property might not work out, does it just made mean that it wasn't meant to be. So you have to look back on yourself and look back how much work you put in. Because
That's right.
yeah, doing HPAP, doing finding a mortgage lender is a lot of paperwork. It,
That's
looking at
right.
that paperwork is just that should give you enough courage
Yes.
to say you have to see this to the end, and then you're just at the end. You're almost there.
And
So
we were almost there. In fact, we were almost there with one property. And you mentioned earlier about you never know if it's going to be there the next day or not. And I know you're speaking from experience because we were there on a property that we walked into one evening.
hmm
And by the time we got our paperwork ready and submitted the next day,
it's gone. someone someone they accepted another offer. I was like,
accepted another offer,
mhm,
just like that.
right,
It can happen. So you got to be ready. You got to be ready with your financing lined up. And I'm glad you mentioned this team concept, this team approach we brought to this process. You got to be ready to go because when you find it, you got to be ready to make that offer. So
right.
great. We found one. You made an offer on the property. Uh, and now you found this one. You had it inspected. Okay, it was inspected. Uh, any issues? Any hairs with the report?
Yeah, there was issues, and
There
here,
was issues.
yes,
But you didn't exercise your contingency to get out this time. What
no.
you do instead?
Instead, I negotiated with the seller. My agent negotiated with the agent seller because your agent speaks for you. So Anthony Bolling's going to speak to the seller's agent to negotiate what the seller can fix in the house.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. There you go. Well, that's a new word for us. Negotiate. Oh, so the real estate professional does offer bring some value here. Okay, great. He negotiated. So look, so you had a report. Seller selling the property as is. This property that we found already appeared to have been renovated. The seller already thought they had already sent their contract in to do everything they thought needed to be done.
Hmm.
Your inspector, again, with his report, found stuff that needed to be done.
Right.
Now, this is an important point here. There's stuff, there's a laundry list of stuff that needs to be done. Then there's a smaller list of stuff that has to be done in order to pass HPAP inspection. And then there's a smaller list of things that you still want done. And whether it's HPAP or not, you would like for it to be done.
Right.
And that's the negotiation part, the nuance that has to take place. that to get all of it done by a seller when your funds are limited. And so as a result, did you get everything on the list done?
No.
No. We got all the HPAP stuff done.
Right.
Did we get some of the stuff you wanted done?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. And you still went through with the settlement.
Yes.
The point I'm bringing out to those buyers that are out there who are listening to this program is that, hey, you got your list of things that are important to you. You're not going to get everything that's important to you, but now you have something to work with and you can move forward. Look, we're going to be wrapping this up, and we want to thank Monique Brown for her coming out and sharing this journey with us and her experience in purchasing her first home utilizing the DC's HPAP program. She got that money. Okay, and she's got a great deal. She found a home in her price range, in a community that she's happy to be living in a neighborhood that she's happy to spend the next whatever year. This is her first house as an investment. But it's not gonna be her last. But and so and she was out the very next day with a contractor. The very next day, having some other things done to the property before she moves into it. Did you find that contract in the yellow pages?
No, I was referred.
You were referred by who?
Anthony Bolling.
Because everybody, the Anthony Bolling Group, our leveraged relationships will save you time, make you money. Save you time, make you money. That's what we'll do for you in this journey. Hey, Monique, I'm gonna let you have almost the last word because I try to let people have the last word, but somehow I still try to get a word in there after you. But come on, if there's something, if you were on the other side of this podcast and there was something and you were like listening to all of this, what would you want to hear from this first-time home buyer? You are an unmarried young lady, unmarried, right?
Yes.
Is that single?
Yes.
Unmarried? Today, you never know with young folk. You single or unmarried? I don't know how you define yourself. I don't want to be politically
On the tax form, it says single.
There you go. So the IRS has spoken. You are single.
Single, yes.
There you go. But what would you share with the audience about this journey, this process, home ownership? There are people out there who are saying buying a house is not worth it. There are people out there that are saying you can't get money from the DC government. These programs don't work. It's not worth it. What would you say to them now in closing? What would you want to hear?
Home ownership is attainable for anyone. It is obtainable. You have to be persistent. You have to be dedicated. You have to be willing to put in hard work. You have to be patient, and you have to use your outside voice.
And you have to use your outside voice.
Yes, be your best advocate.
I love that. I'm going to end on that. I'm going to end with that. You heard it here, everybody, from Monique Brown, new first-time home buyer, 13 months. She embarked on this journey. She got that money. And just so if you're out there wondering, she got over, she didn't get the 202,000, but she got over $160,000 towards the purchase of her home, and that's no repayment, grant money, no repayment on her on that money, and her new home, and she's in not a shack, a beautiful brick semi-detached home with a yard and a basement, and on and on and on, and I'll just tell you, and her all-in new mortgage, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, all in under $1,800 a month. Under $1,800 a month. And because you're a first-time home buyer, you're going to get that DC tax abatement for 5 years, aren't you?
Right. Yes.
That's right. And that's going to knock an additional $350 off from your real estate taxes.
Right. Right.
She's going to be paying less than $1,500 a month as a homeowner here in the District of Columbia. You had to wait to the end to get that special nugget. You had to wait to the end, but it was worth the journey. It was worth the wait just to hear that right there. So anyway, everybody, you heard her last point, and that's the one I want to leave you with. Be your own advocate. Use your outside voice and be your own advocate. Monique, thank you so much, dear.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing the Anthony Bolling Group this privilege and this opportunity to serve as your exclusive buyer representative on this journey. We're so proud of you. We're so happy for you. And whatever we can do to continue to be a resource to you, please let us know. We are here to be of service. And don't forget those 50 referrals I'm looking for.
Yes. Yes.
Everybody, this has been Anthony Bolling Group with Frontline Speakers. Thank you again. All the best. Look forward to speaking with you soon. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Okay. I never know how to turn this thing off, but I'll figure it out. Okay. Nope. Oh, here they go. All right. Oh, the wrong thing came